So yeah, your eyes don't deceive you. This is a brand new video, and this is going to be in a brand new series, guys. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a let's play. I'm not entirely sure exactly if it's going to work out, simply because I've never done a let's play series. I'm not used to, like, frequently uploading, but I have a lot of time on my hands with this whole quarantine bullshit, and I want to just give it a try. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be playing a game, I might as well play something that I know, something that I love, and that's Pokemon Crystal. So we're gonna fucking do that. So let's get it started, guys. So I'll get more into details about like how I had got the idea to do this shit. But for now, we're just gonna start the game. And yes, I have a save file, and I'll explain later as to why that is. Um, but right away, the game is asking me if I'm a boy or girl, and I didn't see any third gender. So if you're wondering how many genders there are, you know, Pokemon just confirmed it for you. So this is gonna be a very casual let's play. You're gonna see me pressing, just skipping through the story simply because I've played this game so many fucking times. I revisit this game like maybe every 1 or 2 years, and simply because I get nostalgic for it, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. It is my favorite Pokemon game of all time, right next to Soul Silver. And yeah, it's just something that I feel nostalgic for. And honestly, it's around the time, it's been like a good almost 2 years since I last did a good full playthrough of this game. And we're gonna call ourselves 7, simply to just stay on brand with the channel. We're going by 7 now, so we might as well just name our dude 7. I've always liked the design of this trainer, one of my favorites. And I mean, he doesn't really have that much detail to him right now, simply because it's like, I mean, the limitations of the Game Boy Color, but what can you do? I just love his backwards high. He's so fucking fly. So, if you guys noticed, I did have a save file already, and that's simply because I tried to record this video prior to this actual Let's Play, the one that you're watching right now. And what ended up happening was that I recorded it wrong. So I'm using OBS, and what ended up happening was that the actual gameplay was not centered, like it was not in the middle of the screen, and it ended up looking like it was just on the side, so it was pretty fucky. So this is our mom. Oh, 7. Our neighbor, Professor Elm, was looking for you. He said he wanted you to do something for him. Oh, what the fuck? He's hope it's nothing too bad. I don't want to assume the worst of a professor, but you never know. It's 2020, and people are outing others, and you just never know these days. I am gonna set the date to the actual day. It's Thursday, just to I think it's daylight savings. I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, guys. So I've played this game so many fucking times. I want to say it was actually the first Pokemon game I've ever played. And I've always held it's always held a special place in my heart. And yeah, and I don't want to get too cheesy, but I do love this game. And we're gonna talk to this redhead fuck because he's just sketchy as hell, just on the side of the building looking at the wall. You can't even tell if there's probably a window there, but he's like, so this is a famous Pokemon lab. What are you staring at? And then he literally just, like, I don't know if he picks you up, but he tosses the fuck out of you. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to Professor Elm, and I'll be quite honest with you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of Professor Elm, simply because I don't know what it is. I think in this game he looks older than what he actually is, because I think in the anime, correct me if I'm wrong, in the anime he looks young, he looks full of life, but here he looks fucking weird. He has a 5 head, and yeah, I don't know. And even in the Pokemon card game he looks cool, because yeah. But anyways, so this is a Gen 2, for those unfamiliar. If you're young as fuck and you have never played this game, this is a Gen 2 game. As you can tell, it's Game Boy Color. It's a Gen 2 game, and Gen 2 is honestly my favorite generation of Pokemon, simply because I grew up, I grew up with Gen 1, but I really fell in love with, like, Pokemon as a whole when Gen 2 came out. I was just so in love with the starters, and just the Pokemon that came out with it, and just I think the anime around that time was just so poppin', and I fucking loved it. So this is the big decision that you have to make, but there's only one right decision, and that is Totodile. If we're not picking Totodile, then I don't think we could be friends. Alright, Cynical's cool, Quilava's fucking amazing, Typhlosion's cool, Chikorita is Chikorita, and I'm not gonna be naming my Pokemon. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe I'll nickname the rest of my Pokemon under my team, but I'm just gonna not nickname my Totodile. I don't know what it is. I don't usually nickname my Pokemon, and a lot of people find that sacrilegious, but I just like giving them the names that they come with. You know, I like their names. So basically, Professor Elm instructs you to go to meet Mr. Pokemon to get a special package or whatever the fuck it is. I know what it is, but I don't want to spoil it. And we got 2 potions from his assistant there. And something that had always kind of bothered me about the Pokemon games, and I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely sure if they do this in every Pokemon game, but I hate how they make you go somewhere to deliver something or to talk to somebody, and then they just send you back to the starting area. That kind of always pissed me off because it's so annoying. It's like, just let me go do what I need to do and then just let me advance, you know? And I'm actually surprised it took this long to encounter. I actually got pretty lucky there. So this is Sentret, and we're just gonna scratch the fuck out of this bitch. And one thing I do like about this game, and I feel like something that really drew me to Crystal version in particular, was the fact that I don't know if you guys noticed, and we'll probably see it right now if I get another random encounter. But the sprite animations, there's actually sprite animations, and there's something that I've really always liked about it, and yeah, it just drew me more to the Pokemon and made me feel more connected to the Pokemon, as cheesy as that fucking sounds. But yeah, so we're gonna talk to this old man, and you want to talk to this old man because he gives you something. He gives you the map, if I'm correct. And basically, you just have to follow him around, and he shows you around Cherry Grove City, or Cherry Grove Town, or whatever the fuck it's called. And yeah, and honestly, there's not much to it. It's just a Pokemon Center and a mart, and yeah, it's just giant square of a town, and he just walks around and he shows you around, and he wants you to get to know the place. And I'm not entirely sure if in the first Pokemon game, in the first generation of Pokemon games, you surf around, but I think that's another thing that I really like about this game, is that you get to, in certain areas, certain parts of the game, you get to do surf, and you get to go on the water and shit like that, and that's how you get to, you go back to the Kanto region at the end of the game when you beat I think it's after you beat the Elite Four. And that's another thing that I really liked about this game, is that you beat the main story, and then there's still, I'm pretty sure there's still another 8 gym leaders from Kanto, and I was always like, wow, what the fuck, like, it's basically, so basically if you got this game around the time that it came out, and you beat the game, and you're like young, and you're thinking, oh well, I just beat the game, that's it, what else is there to do? There's a whole other story to be told. And as you could tell at the Hoppip, its wings moved, its fucking ears flopped around, and I just really like that about this game. I like the sprite animations, and I feel like the sprites in general are just so much better than they are in the fucking first generation. If you go back and play the first generation of Pokemon games, it's just, I mean, I don't really understand why you would want to do that. I mean, there's Fire Red and Leaf Green nowadays, and there's honestly no reason to go back to play the original. The original games are just so fucking broken. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much different it is jumping from the first Pokemon games to, you know, the second generation of Pokemon games, but I don't know. I've tried to go back and play Pokemon Blue. I think not too long ago, actually. It might have been a couple months, and I just couldn't stand it. Like, it just felt so clunky to me. And there's only certain games that I could go back to and play that are like nostalgic like that, especially Game Boy games. I'm not really nostalgic about the original Game Boy games, only certain games. So another thing that I do want to mention is that like I said, I did already try to record this video, and It did go well. I felt that it went well, but the thing about it was that it was like the first, like I said, it was the first time that I've ever tried to record a Let's Play. I have tried to record Let's Plays in previous YouTube channels, and we're not going to talk about that, you know, that's like, like way back in the day, but it wasn't really, I mean, the setup was super fucking primitive. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and honestly, I still don't know what the fuck I'm really doing. I just have a better grasp of like, working with like OBS and like stuff like that. But if you were to see my setup right now currently, it's just so like makeshift. It's so fucky. I'm running off a laptop that's like pretty outdated at this point. I think this is a 2016 laptop, and I've never felt, I have a desktop computer, but in the place that I live, I don't really have necessarily the biggest of space, and it's just a bitch to like actually set everything up. And it might work better in terms of like just having like an actual keyboard and like a mouse and everything like that, but yeah, right now I'm just working with what I can. So this is Mr. Pokemon, and kind of conceited to be called Mr. Pokemon, you know? What the fuck exactly dictates you to have that name, Mr. Pokemon? If anything, I would think that Professor Oak over there would be Mr. Pokemon, you know, because he legitimately is the Mr. Pokemon. If you think about Pokemon collecting, it's fucking Professor Oak. So he's right there, and that's another thing that I really liked about this game, is like, coming from the anime, you come here and you're like, oh, what the fuck, Professor Oak? A Pokemon researcher. I was just visiting my old friend, Mr. Pokemon. I heard you were running an errand for Professor Elm, so I'm here. Oh, what's this? A rare Pokemon? Let's see. I see. I understand why Professor Elm gave you a Pokemon for this errand. To researchers like Professor Elm and I, Pokemon are our friends. Aw. He saw that you would treat your Pokemon with love and care. Ah, you seem to be dependable. How would you like to help me out? See, this is the latest Pokemon. This is the latest version of the Pokédex. It automatically records data on Pokemon you've seen or caught. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. 7. Received the Pokédex. So yeah, he gives you the Pokédex, which is pretty cool to get it from him and not Professor Elm. Because it's like, oh fuck, like, you feel legit. You feel like this motherfucker trusts you. You know, I don't give a fuck about Professor Elm, to be honest with you. You're returning to Professor Elm? Here, your Pokemon should have some rest. Oh, hell yeah. I do want to mention something that happened in the previous recording of this Let's Play. So, oh yeah, Professor Elm calls you, and he's like, it's a disaster, oh, it's terrible, what should I do, oh, it's suck a thing. No, but he basically tells you to go back, and that's the thing, that's like the incentive to going back. You have to, because he's freaking the fuck out, and we'll see exactly why in a second. But I want to mention that what happened, the reason why I didn't end up going with the last recording of this Let's Play is because of, obviously, I didn't like how the recording ended up being, because I didn't know that you had to adjust the screen on OBS. But I fixed that now, and hopefully it turns out well. Oh yeah, so here we go. Here's our rival, redhead fuck. What a waste, a wimp like you. Don't you get what I'm saying? Well, I too have a good Pokemon. I'll show you what I mean. And I think, yeah, I think he has Chikorita here. Damn. He doesn't even look that cool, to be honest with you. So yeah, he sends out Chikorita. I like how she spins her fucking ponytail there. Yeah, I know I'm kind of sidetracking a lot, but I want to be talking about like the game, and then I want to talk about what my experiences with this game. But so yeah, we're gonna fuck up Chikorita, and Chikorita, honestly, not the biggest fan. I'm not really that. I think I like Meganium a little bit better. Meganium's cool, but and Bayleaf, I don't really give a fuck about. I think Bayleaf is one of those like stage 2 evolutions or stage 1 evolutions that are just so, they're not the best to me. And plus, I'm not a huge fan of the grass type starters, to be honest with you guys. I think my favorites are obviously the Bulbasaur line and the Trico line, and that's pretty much it. I do like Grookey. Grookey's cute. But other than that, I'm not really a fan of like Snivy, or just some of the grass type starters I'm not the biggest fan of. I've always been a Puritan. I love the water type starters. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong, not all of them. Not the biggest fan of Oshawott. I think that's the only one that I'm not the biggest a fan of, to be honest with you. But other than that, I'm just a big fan of the water type starters. I don't know why. I think it has a lot to do with my influence on Squirtle. Squirtle being my favorite Pokemon of all time. And if you disagree with me, then you're fucking stupid. But but yeah, Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon of all time. And Totodile is actually my second favorite Pokemon of all time. I just love how goofy he is. He's so full of life. He's so energetic. I just love the little motherfucker. Such a bastard, but I love him. And then for alligators, just such a fucking badass Pokemon. I love it. How could you not like a big fucking meaty alligator or crocodile? And yeah, he's so fucking awesome. So we're gonna see why he's freaking the fuck out. And he's talking to the cops, you know. What a snitch. Apparently, it was a young male with long red hair. What? You battled a trainer like that? Did you happen to get his name? You know what? I'm not a snitch, but I have to give him his name. I have to give him the name simply because of storyline purposes. So, we're gonna call him 9. Because, you know, 7, 8, 9. You know that old meme. So, 9 was his name. Thanks for help in my investigation. So as you can see, the second Pokeball is there, and obviously it was because he took Chikorita. 7. This is terrible. Oh yes, what was Mr. Pokemon's big discovery? 7 handed the mystery egg to Professor Elm. And he's so taken aback, he literally hits the fucking wall. This? But, is it a Pokemon egg? If it is a great discovery. What? Professor O give you a Pokedex? 7, is that true? That's incredible! He is superb at seeing the potential of people as trainers. Wow, 7. You may have what it takes to become the champion. Whoa, take it easy there, dude. I just went and got the fucking egg, delivered the egg to you, and I got the fucking Pokedex by doing literally nothing. And you already think I could be the Pokemon champion? I mean, I guess it is every trainer's dream to become the Pokemon champion, and that's what everybody sets out to do. But, take it easy, man. 7 received Pokeball. So, he gives you the Pokeballs, but I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of the initial Pokemon that you get. Also, I think I have to go talk to Mom to let her know that I'm gonna be dipping. Wow, that's a cute Pokemon. Where did you get it? So, you're leaving on an adventure? Okay, I'll help too. But what can I do for you? I know, I'll save money for you. On a long journey, money's important. Do you want me to save your money? I'll just say yes. I usually say yes, simply because I think in this game, they're pretty forgiving in terms of money. And you're never, like, in real big need of money. I think if you really want to be, like, a big spender, then maybe, but I feel like you're never in, like, really desperate. I should have said no. What the fuck? I hate this shit. But I mean, I guess it's good for content or whatever. I don't really. And what the fuck is this sprite? Dude, he has like no face. What the fuck? So basically, he tells you how to catch Pokemon, and it's so annoying. I like how I never noticed that. I guess because I always press no, but I didn't know his name was literally just Dude. What the fuck? Just didn't. Is that like an actual thing? Like, is his name actually Dude? What the fuck? I guess I've never done that because I mean, why would you want to get a tutorial how to catch Pokemon? It's like pretty self-explanatory. But I'm glad I did that. It's just something I've never seen in this game. It's just fucking called Dude. Should have just called him Man while you're at it. So we're gonna be grinding out a little bit, and I'm gonna be doing the encounters that pop up simply because like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of some of the initial Pokemon here. Like Pidgey's cool, you know, Pidgeot and Pidgeotto are cool. Definitely some of my favorite Pokemon, but I don't really think I want to have them on my team. And I'm not the biggest fan of just like catching Pokemon to catch Pokemon early on. I think it might be a smart idea to do simply because, I mean, you have backup Pokemon, but I've always been that motherfucker that like just overpowers their starter Pokemon. And honestly, usually I think after the first gym, I'm like really close to evolving my starter. And that's like, you know, say what you will about that, but I've always just gone and overpowered my starter. That's just simply how I always play the game. And honestly, I think I'm a really big fan of how the later Pokemon games did it with XP share, and how you basically could just do what I'm doing right now and just power up one Pokemon and you'll be powering up the other Pokemon. If you really want to have a really balanced team, you could go ahead and switch. But hey, the XP share feature in later Pokemon games is just honestly so great. I went through Pokemon Shield, and I was basically just leveling up what's his name, Sabo, on his own, and I was leveling up the other Pokemon just by simply battling with Sabo, and I was doing great. So we're gonna go into the Pokemon Center, and we're gonna heal our Pokemon, and I want to do this now because we're gonna go into Violet City, or Violet Town, or whatever. I'm not entirely sure if there's cities. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are towns. And you're gonna notice throughout this whole Let's Play, there's gonna be things that I'm like trying to remember, because like I said, I haven't played this game in like 1 or 2 years, almost 2 years, honestly. I'm gonna check how much money I have, and I think you do that here. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go into the mart, and I'm actually gonna buy some potions. Simply because, like I said, I'm not the biggest of fan. I'm not. Oh fuck. I don't think I'm gonna. Ah fuck it. I'm not entirely sure that I'm gonna be catching any Pokemon in these upcoming routes. So I'm just gonna have potions on deck, stacked, ready to go for Totodile, just in case, you know, we get low on health. And I want to take this step now simply because in the last version of this Let's Play, in my first recording of this Let's Play, I actually fucked up in one of the parts, in one of the upcoming parts here, and that's never happened to me before, and I think I took for granted the type of advantage that we had, type disadvantage that we had in that specific area. So this is our first Pokemon trainer encounter, and if I'm not correct, it's either like Bugcatcher or like Schoolboy or something like that. So yeah, it's Youngster Joy, and he has some really short shorts. So he sent out a Rattata. I think we already saw a Rattata. I think we saw it in the Pokemon catching tutorial. But yeah, normally I think this is the first time I would see a Rattata, but I mean, we accidentally saw the tutorial on how to catch Pokemon. And you know, I've always found it kind of funny that you can't catch another trainer's Pokemon. Simply because it's like, I could imagine the first time anybody actually tried to catch, like in the story of Pokemon, like somebody was like, fuck it, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this bullshit, I'm just gonna yeet your fucking Pokemon and add them to my team. But I think you could actually do that in one of the Pokemon games. I think it's like Pokemon Gale of Darkness or something like that. You could actually steal the trainer's Pokemon. So we got youngster Mikey here, and he sends out a Pidgey. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of those sprite animations. I don't know what it is. Probably my ADD or something like that kicking in, but I like seeing that things move. So yeah, that's why I feel like I'm a big fan of like Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure what if all the Pokemon games do that with their sprites, or if they just like are static animations. But I think that's why I'm a big fan of like Pokemon Black, where I think maybe even Pokemon Platinum did that, where the sprites move. But I'm for sure Pokemon Black, like the whole time the Pokemon are moving, and I'm a big fan of that. I don't know, I just like seeing the Pokemon move around and do their thing, and yeah, I just really am a big fan of that. So we defeated the first 2 Pokemon trainers, and we're gonna move on. And I'm not entirely sure all the Pokemon that come up in this first area. I know it's Sentret and like Pidgey and obviously Caterpie, and I just don't want to, I do like Caterpie and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily want it on my team just to have a Pokemon, another Pokemon on my team. So I think I'm gonna fucking wait, and maybe I'll search around in the other routes, but as of now, I'm just gonna, you know, power through this shit. I'm already level 9. And yeah, I don't think she's a trainer, and I don't really want to battle her. I do want to do these initial battles simply because I want to be at a decent level by the time we get to Violet City, or Violet Town. Sorry, keep calling it city. I think there's only maybe like one city in this game, if I'm not mistaken. And if I make a mistake about, if I get some facts wrong, just excuse me. I'm not fucking Chugga Conroy, you know, have like literally give you like every fact. I'm not doing a lot of research before I do these let's plays. I'm just simply just playing this game for nostalgia reasons. Like I said, it's up there. I want to say maybe like my 3rd favorite video game of all time. I have so many memories with this game. I play this game, like I said, every one or 2 years, simply because I get bored and I'm like, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking play this. And I'm not entirely sure how the quality of this looks. I hope it is decent enough to, you know, justify, you know, uploading this and, you know, making it a good viewing experience, because I mean, obviously you want to be able to enjoy what you're watching. But yeah, how I'm recording it right now is through an emulator. Obviously I don't have a fancy setup. I don't have a Game Boy player, a Super Game Boy player. I'm not like recording this off of a SNES or you know, that thing that you could use for the SNES to record Game Boy games. I don't have any of that. I'm simply recording it off a good old emulator. And if say what you will about emulators, but they come in handy, dude. They come in clutch, especially for these games. If you just want to, you know, you could do this on your phone if you really wanted to. But you know, I don't really necessarily see. Obviously, there's the whole pirating thing. There's the whole, you know, you're not really getting back to the developer shit. But I feel like with these types of games, it's like they've been out for forever. It doesn't really hurt anybody for you to actually like just download a ROM and play these games on your computer. So I don't necessarily see a problem with it. So we should be good. So yeah. I think for this first episode, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna do a lot of editing. I only cut out parts that are like where there's like some dead air and there's like it's kind of monotonous, and there's no real reason for me to be showing every little thing that we do in this game. But yeah, especially for this first episode, I do want to just, you know, run and do whatever it is there is to do in the game, and just talk about, you know, obviously my experience with the game. And we're gonna get this berry, and there's something that I do like about this game, the berries, because I mean they help with anything, you know, really. And but yeah, I'm just gonna let it through. I'm just gonna do a really casual, real easygoing, you know, Sunday relaxed morning, you know, with the coffee, morning sunshine, shit like that, all that cheesy shit. It's just a casual let's play, guys. And I don't wanna. And like I said, I'm gonna be like, I'm just like you've been seeing throughout this whole episode. I'm just speeding through this story. You know, I think with a lot of Pokemon games, the story is not that big of a deal. It's not the most complex sort of thing. I think maybe Pokemon Platinum had a really good story. I think even Black and Black 2, that whole thing was really good. And you know, those are the more engaging stories. There's a lot of lore into them, but I think for the first two, like maybe even I want to say maybe until Gen 3, the story is just not that in depth, and that's something that you got to keep in mind. And that's why I feel like a lot of people shit on Pokemon Sword and Shield, was because the story is just pretty straightforward. You know, there's not that much depth in that game, but I feel like as a Pokemon fan myself, I'm not looking for a really complex story. If I'm looking for a more complex story, I'll play like a Final Fantasy or like a Dragon Quest sort of game, or like Fire Emblem, that sort of thing. But for a Pokemon game, I'm just looking for a chill time, you know, catching Pokemon, you know, leveling up my Pokemon. Just if I'm really into the game, I'll complete the Pokédex, and you know, it's more of a chill like RPG. I'm not really looking for. I know what I'm getting myself into, and I know a lot of people have high standards for games nowadays, and they expect more. And there's the whole thing with like, you know, don't cut out content just to make it DLC later. And while I do agree with that, like if you already have the whole game and you're purposely not putting out the whole game as it is, then if you could put it out as a whole and you're just purposely cutting content just to add DLC later, yeah, it's kind of a scummy thing to do, but at the same time, it's like whatever, you know, it's just business as usual. And it's kind of shitty that it's gotten to that point in the video game industry where they do that. But hey, you got, if you don't, not a big fan of that, then just don't support it, you know. Obviously, you got to speak with your wallet. And here we go, we're at Violet City. And I am going to go to the Pokemon Center and heal real quick, simply because this is the part where in the last recording of this Let's Play I fucked up bad, and I actually died at, I actually wiped out in one of the parts here coming up. And yeah, because there's two main things that you could do here. Obviously there's like this, I think this is the school. Yeah, Earl's Pokemon Academy. I never usually go in there. So here is the gym, and I'm not entirely sure if you could just do it yet. I usually don't do it first, simply because there is, over here, there is the Bellsprout Tower, or the Sprout Tower, excuse me. And I usually do this first, simply because there is a lot of, Pokemon trainer battles. And it's a good way to level up your Pokemon if you're still looking for a little bit more of XP. The first gym leader in this game is actually pretty easy. Faulkner, the bird type gym leader. It's actually pretty easy. It's a breeze, but I usually like to go in prepared. Now, the Bellsprout Tower. Most of the Pokemon trainers here, obviously, going off the name of the fucking area, they all have Bellsprouts. Most of their teams are composed of straight up Bellsprouts, and that's not entirely a good thing for me, seeing as I have Totodile, but that's another reason why I went and bought a bunch of potions, because in the last version of this Let's Play, I fucking died in the last guy because I ran out of PP on Scratch. I didn't have Water Gun. I think I did learn Water Gun, but Water Gun was just doing absolutely nothing for me, considering that Bellsprout is obviously a grass type Pokemon, and we're at a type disadvantage, and Water Gun isn't going to do that much for me. And I don't think Rage is the best, obviously, because you got to charge it up, and then it takes a turn, and obviously your Pokemon, your opponent could do damage to you. But this is a really good area, simply to gain a couple more levels and be more prepared. And if you're like me and you don't necessarily like catching a lot of Pokemon in the initial parts of your Let's Play, of your run through this game, it's a good way to get a couple levels and power up your starter, obviously. But yeah, wow, we didn't get to level 12. What a fucking cock tease, dude. Nico, you bitch, didn't level me up. Oh, fuck, I completely forgot that there's actually a random encounter, so with this Rattata we should be good to go and get our Totodile to level 12, I think, yeah, level 12. But yeah, like I said, I think it's something that you really want to do first, just to get a couple extra levels, and that you could feel more prepared, more ready for the actual gym leader. I think the first gym leader is super easy. I think there's only like 2 NPCs in that you have to battle before you actually battle the Faulkner, the gym leader. And yeah, so we got a paralyzed heal here, and yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna do these battles here, and I think maybe for episode 2, I'll if there's more of these like random battles in between like towns and cities or whatever, I'll probably just cut that out and just include parts where I do have something to say. But for this first part, I just think I'm just gonna let it play, simply because I want to get refamiliarized with the game, and just chat with you guys, chat with my weeaboo children. You guys are the fucking best. And I was honestly thinking of streaming the game, but I feel like I had that itch of like just making content, and I feel like this is a good way. I think Let's Plays are like a good way to like it's kind of you could say it's a little bit of cheap content simply because it's like you're just playing the game and you're just, you know, especially if you're familiar with the game, um, you know, uh, I think it's easy to just, you know, whip up a let's play, and I feel like that's why a lot of people became let's players simply because it's honestly easy content if you think about it. Like I said, you're just playing a game, and you know, I think where it matters the most is the commentary. You know, if you're not saying much, then it's boring, and I think a lot of people prefer for whoever they're watching to like obviously be interactive and like talk to their viewers, because I mean you want to keep your viewers entertained. But I feel like in speedrunning, to kind of sidetrack a little bit and just talk about something else, I feel like in speedrunning, um, a lot of people get away with not really interacting with their viewers simply because the skill of speedrunning, you know, kind of speaks for you. You know, a lot of people are just so in trance of like all these glitches and like just the sheer um, sight of seeing a game that you love so much like being completely just fucking broken down and just stripped into this mangled fucking mess. And I think that's like a spectacle in itself, just seeing a game that you love so much, and maybe it took you like countless hours to beat as a kid, or even as a grown up, it takes you hours to beat the game, and just seeing it played out and be in 30 minutes or even less than that, you know. Because I think with Pokemon games, for example, I don't watch a lot of speed running for Pokemon, but I have watched speed runs for this game, and I think it's like they beat it in a couple hours. And honestly, this game is not that long if you're just going for um, the 8 gym badges and, you know, to beat the Elite Four. I think this game is not one of the longest ones, but I think I think the reason being, I think the reason why it's so great is because, you know, you beat the game, and like I said earlier, you could go to Kanto, and going to Kanto is awesome. And I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's like kind of like a thing where like, oh well, they're just adding older stuff to it, but I for some reason I feel like in this game it works. You know, just going back, I mean it's Gen 2, so I mean you can't really ask for a lot, and there's really obviously 2 generations of Pokemon at this point when this came out. And but just going back to Kanto, and I think you could actually get the Kanto 8 gym badges from Kanto, which is fucking awesome. I fucking love that about this game. That's another reason why I love this game so much, is because of it's basically like a part 2. You know, and like I said earlier, if you bought this game, I think I mentioned this earlier, but like, if you bought this game as a kid back then, you really got your money's worth, because if you're like a completionist, you could obviously go for the whole to complete the Pokédex, and you could, you know, get all the gym badges, and you could do all the little side quests and get all the other items and stuff like that, and then you could obviously go back to Kanto, which is so fucking great. So yeah, got Scratch on this fucking Bellsprout. I think there's like a little cluster of Pokemon trainers here, and wow, that fucking Bellsprout really gave it to me right now. And that's the thing about it. I think Totodile doesn't really excel in this area simply because we're at an early type disadvantage. Obviously, Cyndaquil would have probably wrecked house here, and we're just gonna use a potion. But good thing about this potion, because yeah, like I said in the last version of this Let's Play, I completely fucked up, and I was honestly so shocked that I actually died where I died, and it's coming up right now. Obviously, I made it to the end, and I got to the last guy, but he fucked me up, and that's honestly the first time I've ever died in that area. And if you die there, it sets you all the way back to Cherry Grove, I think, or I think it sent me back to Cherry Grove town simply because that's the last place where I entered a Pokemon Center, and yeah, so if you're gonna go into a new town, make sure that you go to the Pokemon Center so that you have like a little bit of a checkpoint. Because if you don't go into the Pokemon Center and you go automatically to whatever gym or whatever, and you wipe out for some reason, you're gonna get sent back pretty far, and it's a pain in the ass. So we're gonna try to avoid that. And you know, Totodile is level 14, and like I said, I'm not entirely sure if he evolves into Crocodile uh, at level 16 or level 18. It's either one or the other. I'm pretty sure it's. I want to say 16, but I think it's actually 18, which is you know, it's okay. I want to say 16 because I kind of used to them involving a level 16. I think at some point they made him level 16, but I think it's actually 18 here in these games. But yeah, I do want him to be Crocodile. Crocodile is so awesome. Crocodile is actually one of the second evolutions the second stage evolutions that I actually really like, simply because Crocodile's like a little caveman. You know, he has like the little toga thing going on, and he's like a little caveman, which I actually really like that design of him. And just the whole Totodile line, I fucking love. I love all of it. And like, that's the thing, like with a lot of Pokemon, I feel like the second stage evolution gets overshadowed by like the first, obviously like the first stage and then the last stage. Simply because obviously the first stage is like really cute, and then we'll obviously like the last stage is the last stage, and that's why you see most of the time, you know, because you get stuck with that stage of the Pokemon. And here's 9, our rival, and he fucks him up. As promised, here's your HM. But let me say this. You should treat your Pokemon better. The way you battle is far too harsh. Pokemon are not tools of war, you fucking idiot. He claims to be elder, but he's weak. It stands to reason I'd never lose to fools who babble about being nice Pokemon. I only care about strong Pokemon that can win. I really couldn't care less about weak Pokemon. 9 uses escape rope, and then he fucking dips with the escape rope. How the fuck does that even work? Like, you would think like, I don't even know. I don't even fucking know how that works. But we're gonna battle this dude, and we're not gonna fuck it up like last time. This dude is the one that fucked me up last time, and yeah, we're gonna fuck him up, and he's gonna check the ties between me and my Pokemon. But me and my fucking Totodile are homies, so we got this. And I think he has 2 Bellsprouts and a Hoo-Hoo. And obviously, the Bellsprout fucked me up last time. But I think we should be good. I think we have PP here. Yeah, we have enough. If not, then we'll try to clutch it out with Water Gun. But yeah, Bellsprout Tower. I think I like it better, obviously, in Soul Silver. And if you're wondering why I'm not playing like Soul Silver or Heart Gold, simply because of it's obviously better quality, and I think they are the better games. Just technically, you know, with everything, you know, you have your Pokemon following you around, and obviously the animations and the sprites are better, and just everything in general is like much more appealing to see. But like I said earlier, I have a limitation with my desktop, with the way that I'm recording and like the capabilities of this laptop. And I have tried to run a DS emulator on this laptop, but it's just not the best, honestly. It's kind of laggy, and I figured that if I'm gonna record a video, if I'm gonna spend time to, you know, do a let's play, I actually want it to look somewhat decent, and having the game stutter around, it's just not appealing to see, and honestly to play. And it's not just about the recording, it's about the gameplay experience. And if I'm not enjoying the fact that it's like constantly dropping frames or whatever, then I'm just not going to be enjoying myself. And yeah, well, I do love Soul Silver. Soul Silver is probably just one of the better Pokemon games. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people hold those two remakes very dear, very close to themselves, because they're obviously. I feel like I feel like a lot of people have a close affinity to Gen 2 in general. So I feel like when those games came out, a lot of people hopped on it, and they were happy, and as was I. I remember when Soul Silver came out. Soul Silver was like the first game that I've ever pre-ordered at GameStop. And you know, it came with the Pokemon Walker, it came with like the game, and it came in this huge nice box. And I feel kind of shitty because I don't have that anymore. I'm not in, I think it might be at my parents' house, but not entirely sure what happened to that. I wish I still had that simply because it was just such a great package. But yeah, um, I love that game. And so yeah, we beat the Bellsprout Tower, and we're actually gonna go to the Pokemon Center, simply to get, obviously to get that checkpoint. But I want to heal the Pokemon, heal my Totodile to get its PP back for Scratch, because Scratch comes in clutch. A water gun, I don't think it's gonna do too much for us in this gym. I might be wrong, but I think Scratch is the way to go. We'll see, we'll see how much it does right now when I get in there. But yeah, so Pokemon Soul Silver is so great, and Heart Gold obviously is it's exactly the same thing, you know, with some minor differences. But yeah, that's another thing with me in my Pokemon history. I kind of skipped over the DS generation and the 3DS generation simply because, not by choice, but I just didn't grow up with those because I had, you know, I was more of a console player, and I had a Wii at some point. I had a 360, and then I eventually stuck with a PS3, and I still have a PS4 now, and obviously now I have a Switch. Luckily, thankfully, I have a Switch, and I'm able to play those games. But back then, you know, when I was living with my parents, it was more of a thing where, like, okay, you know, you gotta have one console, and you know, um, yeah. And my little sister did have a DS, and that's how I was able to play Soul Silver. But I never. It was more of her. That was like more her thing, like the DS. And while she didn't really use it that much because she wasn't that big of a gamer back then, um, it was more of a thing where, like, I was already with my PS3, and Soul Silver was the game that I really wanted to play, and I wasn't really interested in. And at the time, I wasn't really interested that much in those types of games. But I did go back, you know, in my teens, in my later teen years. And I did go back, obviously, thankfully for thank God for emulation. I was able to get to play Platinum and Black 2, and just experience those games because if you haven't played those games, you really should. They're like I said, they have some of the best storyline in terms of Pokemon games, and just those generations. I do really like fourth generation, and generation 5 is okay. Not the best in my opinion, but I do still like it quite a bit. But yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really like Pokemon Shield and Generation 8. I think we're at this point. There's so much generations now. I don't fucking know, but I think it's Generation 8. I really like the generation and some of the Pokemon that were introduced. And say what you will, talk shit about me all you want, but I really like Pokemon Shield, and Pokemon Shield is I'll get more into that, but for now, here we are with Faulkner with this cool guy haircut, his emo swoop. He's such a punk. I'm Faulkner, the Valley Pokemon Gym Leader. People say you could clip Pokemon. Damn, I am stuttering left and fucking right. I'm not used to talking this much during video games, like while I'm playing video games, unless I'm with like friends or whatever. But I'm not in a recording setting. I'm not that used to it, and I could already feel my fucking throat getting so fucking dry. But anyways, here we are with Faulkner, and I do like his design. And he only has 2 Pokemon. He has a Pidgey and I think a Pidgeotto. Yeah. But we should be okay. We're just gonna scratch the fuck out of this motherfucker and see we go. Yeah, Scratch is really clutch. I think later on we get Bite. And Bite is honestly like such a clutch move for later Pokemon. And yeah. So after this battle, we're either going to confirm or deconfirm that he evolves at level 16. I think, yeah, I think it is 18, because I think in my the last version of this Let's Play that I did, I got to him and he got to level 16, Totodile, and after the battle he didn't evolve. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is, obviously, we're going to be Faulkner. And And yeah, I think what I plan to do is we're gonna be Faulkner, and just gonna talk a little bit more, and we're gonna call it an episode. So we beat Faulkner, pretty easy gym leader, right? Not that hard. Darn, my dad's cherished bird Pokemon. Alright, take this. It's the official Pokemon League Cypher badge. So he gives us our first badge. And he gives us that clean 900 fucking Poke Dollars, dude. 900. This dude's stacked. I don't know if you saw the gym. I'll show you right now again. But it's literally in the shape of a money. It's literally in the shape of a dollar sign. And if this dude ain't got clout, then I don't know who the fuck got more clout than him. So he gives us TM31, which I think is Mud Slap. Yeah, let's see. So yep, Mud Slap. And TMs could only be used once. I think HMs are the ones that you could use more than once. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, see, dude, this dude, what the fuck? He says it's pathetic to lose to a rookie trainer. Bitch, I beat the fuck out of you. So yeah, here, it's a money sign, dude. This dude got mad stacks. He's fucking packed to the brim. And I do like how afterwards you check it, and it lets you know that you beat the gym. But yeah, so we pretty much did everything, and Professor Elm calls you. Hello, 7. Hello, 7. We discovered something about the egg. My assistant is at the Pokemon Center in Violet City. Can you go talk to him? Click. So I guess we should go talk to him, I guess. I mean, might as well. He gives you the Pokemon egg. And like I was saying, guys, so I think what I'm gonna do for this series is depending on like how short it is to like get to one gym to the other, because there's obviously like side quests and like other storyline beats that, you know, happen throughout the game. You know, you don't necessarily go from gym to gym straightforward like that. You know, there's obviously things that you have to do on the side. I think what I'm gonna do is after each time that I beat a gym, I'm gonna call it an episode. And obviously this episode is a little bit long, simply because, you know, I wanted to talk about just my history with the game, and I'm gonna keep doing that as we go, because because like I said, I haven't played this game in quite a bit, and there's obviously things that I'm gonna be wanting to talk about, and other Pokemon related things or whatever. And yeah, so I think after each gym, we are going to call it an episode. And here we go. We got the Pokemon egg. I'm gonna heal up my homie Totodile, and yeah, I think I'm gonna call it an episode, guys. And hopefully you guys enjoy this episode, and if you want to see more, obviously let me know in the comments down below. Slap a like on the video, and if you're new to this channel, you know, subscribe. And if you want to get a feel as to the type of content that's already in place for this channel, you know, go ahead and check out the other videos. I used to do storytime videos, and I do want to get back to that and do more. But I feel like for me right now, and where I am, and like, you know, my mentality right now, I just want to put out, you know, content. And I feel like doing a let's play of a video game that I really like is a good way to, you know, have a steady flow of content. And I feel like doing this will, you know, motivate me to do exactly that. So what do you say we call it an episode, guys? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like I said, slap a like if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I promise you I'm going to keep going with the series, and I'll see you later, my beautiful children. I love you guys so much, and stay positive. Hope you're not going too crazy with the fucking coronavirus, and you're not going insane in isolation. And yeah, I love you guys, and stay safe.